your brain, you're in the nerds domain. Come on in, it's about to begin.
Hi everybody, I'm here at Studio Movie Grill, and welcome to the Nerds Domain podcast. Today I'm with a couple of podcasting friends, Tiny and Matt from the Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
And why don't you guys go ahead and tell us a little bit about your podcast?
All right, well, it's called the Obsessive Viewer Podcast. We're based out of here in Indianapolis. We have one guy that Skypes in from Evansville. Hi, Mike. We're also, it's just a weekly movie and TV podcast where we talk about a specific topic each week, followed by a little extra at the end where we talk about what we're into and what we're looking forward to, stuff like that. Tiny, do you want to mention something about Sharktober in Irvington?
Oh yeah, here on October 17th. It's a Thursday night. Friday night. We are having an event in Irvington, which is kind of on the east side of Indianapolis. In the Irving Theater, we are going to screen some short films from some local filmmakers, short horror films. There's going to be a costume contest. There'll be a raffle. And then to wrap things up, we're going to screen Night of the Living Dead, the original. So
right on.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night. So come out to that. It's $10 to get in. Raffle tickets are $1.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be fun.
Right on. Okay, so today we came and saw for my birthday, which was a week ago, 2 weeks ago by the time this goes up. I think it's going up on the weekend. We came in to see Jurassic Park. So you guys both have seen Jurassic Park before, right?
Oh, yes.
I haven't heard of that.
That's the one with the dinosaurs.
The one with the...
Yeah.
I was thinking of something else. Yeah, I'd seen it before. I'd never seen it in the theater, though. So
okay.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I remember seeing this in the theater, mostly because my brother got thrown up on midway through the movie, and he had to leave. And he was like, "You have to come with me," and I was like, "I'll walk home. I'm good." And I did actually walk home because it was right around the corner. Oh, wow. So, I saw this in the theater when it first came out. I loved dinosaurs when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. I secretly still love dinosaurs. But this movie had a huge impact on me as a child. Same with you, Matt?
Oh, absolutely. I remember seeing this this is one of my first theater experiences I can remember. Not this one tonight, but when I first saw it as a kid.
Right.
I remember it because there was a lot of hype surrounding it, obviously, and my parents were telling me about how I can't confirm this, but I think maybe it was around the time D-Box started happening in like California, like D-Box theaters. But they were talking about how they had this interactive like it rumble chairs as the movie goes on. I vaguely remember that aspect of it, but I just remember being like, "Oh, this is amazing!" And obviously I haven't been able to do that, but there was a lot of hype surrounding it, and we were really excited about it. All the special effects were really lauded upon and all that. So I remember specifically my parents were taking us somewhere as like a surprise, and then I remember like mapping out, remembering like the route that they were taking from like a few weeks before when I saw like Super Mario Brothers.
Okay.
And I was like, we're going to the movie theater. We're going to see Jurassic Park. And we did, and it was a much better movie than Super Mario Brothers.
A lot of things are a lot better movie than Super Mario Brothers. What about you, Tony? You said you didn't see it in the theater. How old were you?
Never saw it in the theater. This came out in 94, is that right?
93.
93. I was 6.
Yeah.
A little young for this movie,
Yeah.
so I didn't see it. I don't think I saw it until like 95, probably.
Okay.
On VHS at home.
Yeah.
And I still, that's how effective the movie is, even at home. I was like, holy crap, this is nuts. And watching it this time, I was just like, man, this movie's so dated. Just watching Samuel L. Jackson's chain smoking indoors all day. But yeah, man, it's just such an effective movie. It hits every note it just sets out to hit, and it's just a legendary movie.
Yeah. So I did notice a lot of technology issues. There was a lot that stuck out. Anything specific you guys saw that really screamed at you? The big one, the first one that really, really got me and pulled me out of the movie a little bit was when they get on the ride and they see the John on the screen, and that's terrible, terrible picture quality. Like, like horrendous picture quality that you would never do ever nowadays. Anything stuck out to you guys besides the Unix system?
The one that really stuck out to me is, I mean, I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie, but the first scene where like the big reveal of the is it the Brontosaurus?
Yeah.
When they first see him, I was like, okay, that the color shading and kind of the mapping of that in the scene was a little off.
Yeah.
Especially when Grant is standing in front of him in the foreground of it and it's like waving his hand. I was like, that's a little tricky, but even with somewhat dated effects, I mean, most of the other effects throughout the movie are still hold up incredibly well.
Yeah.
But just like that, it's like even with that, it's just such a strong movie in its own right. Like when the helicopter is flying to the island for the first time and the music swells and everything, it's just like that hits me right in the 1993 Matt childhood.
Absolutely.
I love it so much.
Anything you saw, Tiny, that screamed?
No, I mean there's like continuity errors in the movie though.
A couple of them. Yeah.
The biggest one is like when they're at the T-Rex enclosure and like they're looking at the enclosure and there's like the goat that comes out of the ground, and then during the attack, all of a sudden there's this huge chasm for the car to fall off. It's like, how'd that get there?
In the egg scene, there's the arm, grabby arm is in the shot. They change angles, it's completely gone, and then they change angles back, and it's there again.
Yeah.
There's a few like that. How did you guys feel about the actors? Because I just read this book and reviews up on the site. I'd never read it before, which I'm a little behind on that, but I noticed that in the book, Ian Malcolm is not believable as this charismatic ladies' man. In the movie, I really feel like Jeff Goldblum does a fantastic job. What do you guys think of the rest of the cast?
Let's see. The rest of the cast, I mean, Attenborough. I mean, you can't really fault him at all in this movie. He's amazing in it, which he just recently passed away as well. But the rest of the cast is really good. The kids, as far as child actors go, the kids could have been so much more annoying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And like even like the kid Tim, I can't remember the actor's name. Now he was in the Pacific recently, but he plays annoying kid so well, and it's a staple of Spielberg that he's famous for getting strong performances out of children throughout his career, and this isn't really a different. It's business as usual for him, I guess, to say it lightly, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I thought Sam Neill was surprisingly good. He's kind of, he just has no desire to be the hero at all, but embraces that throughout the movie. And I think something that was kind of against the grain of typical Spielberg in this is that he's kind of famous for having, like, kids having absent fathers, like in E.T., I can't think of other examples, but, he was obviously Sam Neill, Dr. Grant was a huge father figure throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly rewarding how they weaved that development through all this incredibly tense action, and you actually cared about it throughout the movie. A lot of that credit goes to Michael Crichton and David Koepp, I think, for the script as well as Steven Spielberg. I think he's going to be a good director.
It's kind of it's kind of a funny kind of reverse of the common Spielberg trope, I guess, of the disconnect between father and son, or father and child kind of thing. It's instead of having a child without, like, fatherless child, it's kind of the reverse of a father figure without a child.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting choice.
And Nedry is a wonderful villain. Wonderful, greedy, despicable person.
Oh yeah,
I really like the guy because in the book, he is not nearly as well played up.
Oh yeah,
you don't get that icky feeling off of him. What he does almost makes sense in the book. Like he essentially gets contracted, builds the thing. They change what they want because they never tell him what it's for, and he gets screwed on money. Wow. So him going after $1.5 million to screw this company, part of me is like, yeah, screw the man.
Yeah.
But in this, like, that is not, you don't get that at all.
Yeah, he's very comical.
Yeah.
I mean, Wayne Knight is amazing as the role.
Absolutely.
Just the way that he's so, and I remember this from when I first saw the movie back in '93. The way he's so animated and excited when Dodson shows him the secret canister, it tickles me so much to see so much excitement.
And there's a point in there where he makes a dinosaur noise. He screeches a little bit.
Yeah.
So John Williams is is one of my favorite composers, especially for movies. I really think this is one of the best soundtracks that I've ever heard. What do you guys think?
Absolutely, and you can't. John Williams he's ubiquitous. He's incomparable. But I feel like there's like an article or maybe a YouTube video where they play all of his famous scores next to each other, and they're like remarkably similar.
Yeah.
I can't remember the specifics of it. I'm not like necessarily a musical person, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're all unique in their own way. It's not like you confuse Jurassic Park with Star Wars.
Right.
So I mean, like I said, he's unparalleled.
Yeah. And I agree completely. Like I said, a big part of that is the music. It just plays into the nostalgia for me. And it's like it just transports me back to being a kid watching it on the big screen, especially now. Unlike when it was released in 3D, which I'm just not a fan of 3D at all.
There's nothing good about 3D.
Yeah, and like I went and saw it because I had time to kill because my friend was getting married, and and then they had the rehearsal dinner, but I wasn't in the wedding, so I had time to kill, and I was in town for the wedding, so I just went and saw Jurassic Park 3D, and I was like the best part about it was like sitting, like being able to see like a kid like in front of me with his parent, like getting all excited and everything for it, and then it's even that comes with like a little bit of a not tragedy, but kind of just a disappointment. Like this kid's first experience with Jurassic Park is in 3D.
Yeah, I felt really bad when they re-released Phantom Menace in 3D. I took my son, and he hadn't really watched anything Star Wars yet. I hate 3D. It turns out I get sick in 3D. I knew that from some other movies, but I assumed. We went and saw Polar Express with my son's school. Mm-hmm. I assumed that was Polar Express, and because of the animation, and we were at IMAX 3D. Mm-hmm. So I assumed that was part of it. No. Wow. And Polar Express was nauseating, and then the Phantom Menace was nauseating on multiple levels.
Oh yeah.
And I really just 3D. Unless the movie's shot that way to begin with.
Oh yeah.
And that's the intention of the director, and they do things to feed that. Then it's complete waste. And even at that point, I'm not going to pay $4 extra a movie to put what is scientifically proven to be poo-covered glasses on my face just to watch a movie. I just can't do that. I can't. That's not part of my movie-going experience.
Oh yeah.
So
it's highway robbery. It's just
absolutely.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not as against it as you guys. Like, I'll see it. If I'm with a group of people and they want to see 3D, I'll do it. But, like, I don't seek it out, really.
Absolutely.
But I remember seeing Avatar, and I was like, that's pretty amazing. It was almost gimmicky, though. Because it was so good, it was almost a gimmick. But I kind of enjoyed that to an extent.
Yeah, the 3D in Avatar was really good.
Well, in that one...
I said I'm not an Avatar fan.
But in Avatar, he shot it with the intention.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, in that, I can forgive at least a little bit of it, but the only thing in Star Wars, I don't know if you guys saw Phantom Menace.
No.
In 3D,
There's a part where they're in the pod race, woohoo, and that's when I noticed the 3D, because he reaches out to grab the piece that's flopping around that's broken.
Yeah.
That's the only part, and I'm like, wow, I paid how much for this movie to see one piece where I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cool. The space battles weren't spectacular. Nothing. And in fact, the space battles were kind of worse because 3D doesn't react. Your mind doesn't react as quickly as when you see, like, oh, there's a thing and a thing and a thing. Like, the space battles were so fast, I was just like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah. So. I had a similar experience with Jurassic Park 3D, actually, because it was like every time the camera moved, like just a sweeping establishing shot of it, it would just be blurry. Like my brain couldn't comprehend what I was seeing quick enough for me to translate it to my eyes. But it was just messy.
Yeah.
It was not the experience I wanted to have with Jurassic Park on the big screen. That was the first time seeing Jurassic Park on the big screen since 1993.
Right on.
Yeah.
So the movie felt really good to you guys. I think we covered that pretty well. Have you seen the two movies after this? Jurassic Park Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 The Dummining. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Tiny.
I've seen Lost World, and it's good. It's great. I think it's a fun movie. I think more Jeff Goldblum is always best. Can't go wrong. The third one, I've only seen in pieces. I've never seen it all the way through.
I've seen both of them. Lost World, I don't remember. Like, I remember like the part where they're in the long SUV bus thing, then they're hanging over the side.
Yeah.
I remember that. And that's about it. And then the third one I remember, but only because the Raptors were awesome in that one. Like they were a lot of fun and scary, and and the poo phone, because the fake dinosaur eats their radio phone or their satellite phone, and then later they hear it ringing and they have to go dig it out of the poop.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
classy.
Yeah, so there's a callback to poop. I mean, whatever. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the two of them were okay. I mean, 2 is better than 3, but 3 is terrible, and the ending is horrendous. Like anticlimactic. Like you just smash into a wall and it's over.
Wow.
And then
I remember seeing the second one, The Lost World, with my mom in the theater, actually.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a funny comparison between this movie and that movie that I don't have like the deep nostalgic memory about it. It was just a movie that I saw at the time, and then like Tiny, and I've only seen the third one in pieces, but I actually did. I splurged on buying the Blu-ray set, the Ultimate Trilogy of all 3, because it looked like the special features were really good. But I didn't mean to like break it open and watch it all just en masse and then like read a review of it. But maybe I'll do that at some point in my lifetime. Maybe before Jurassic World. I don't know.
Yeah, because that was my next question. You guys excited about Jurassic World next year?
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, that's all you gotta say.
Yeah.
I mean.
Honestly, I know nothing about it other than it's another Jurassic Park movie. I have a very strict rule that I don't look into movies too much.
Yeah.
Because modern movies, especially comic book movies, which I'm super into, tell you the entire story in the previews. And,
absolutely.
When we did our summer movie draft, I watched every preview for every movie. Only because I wanted to know what I was betting on. And I won, so I did it right.
Nice.
Very nice.
I actually won by like 300 million.
Sweet.
So I won a little bit.
Wow.
But I picked up stuff. You guys should listen to that episode. I'm sorry about the listeners, but I picked up A Fault in Our Stars for like $5.
That movie.
It made 142 million.
Oh yeah.
I was
It's funny. I remember listening to the episode where you guys were drafting it and everything, and I was like you were saying like, oh yeah, The Fault in Our Stars for $5, and I'm like sitting there thinking like, I know about this movie. This is he's gonna be very successful in this.
Well, and we did the wrap up, and it was by far the best movie this summer. Like dollar spent for dollar earned.
Yeah,
nice.
But then I also picked up Draft Day, which did shit. And what was the other? Chef, which did terrible.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I think I ended up with Blended, but not by choice. Because I was like, I'm going to open it at $5. I guess I bid $5, and there were crickets.
Oh, man.
No one else wanted that thing, for good reason.
No. Yeah.
Which was sad, because Grown Ups 2, I passed on last year, and it got Pacific Rim instead, thinking Pacific Rim would do well.
Right.
And it did worse than Grown Ups 2.
Oh, God.
Ridiculous.
And I was like, but Pacific Rim was like, even if you don't want to like care about Godzilla or monster movies, like it's fun.
It was hyped. Like,
Visually,
crazy.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was listening to something, and they were worried about the movie being overhyped. I forget what that movie was, but yeah, I get that concept too.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think it's funny that with Pacific Rim, it was very much overhyped, sure, but it was also an original property, so I feel like that also was playing out of its favor. Like they were hyping it as if it was an established brand.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's a good
when
point.
it wasn't. So
Yeah. So let's talk about the place we saw this. Studio Movie Girl.
Yes.
I've discussed it on the podcast once before. This is your first time here, right?
Yes.
First time here. We're West Siders. We're from Speedway, so it's a little bit of a drive.
Right on.
We usually stick to like Traders Point or Shiloh for our movie watching, but this place is really impressive.
You guys both ate, I think, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you guys like the food?
Yeah, I wanted to. Oh, this is so dorky. Whenever I see a movie with Tiny, I always try to think of a stupid pun to tell him before or after the movie. So as
Emphasis on the stupid.
Yep. In the spirit of Spielberg, I had not. This isn't in the spirit of Spielberg, but when I received my, I think it was a barbecue bacon burger, artery clogging thing.
Yeah.
It was delicious, but I noticed it had a lot of sauce on it and stuff. So I wanted to nudge Tiny. I didn't get a chance to because the movie was about to start, but I wanted to nudge him and be like, I'm gonna need a bigger pile of napkins, to reference Jaws.
Yeah.
But but I didn't, and now it's on the internet forever.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what would be a good like thematic dish to get with Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
like from the menu, and he's like, which one of these like coincides with Jurassic Park? And there was a meat eater pizza.
Yeah.
I was like, that's probably the best pick right there.
Yeah.
Or there was ribs. I was like, ribs are good. Yeah.
Right on.
So,
Neither of us got it.
So you guys both liked your food?
Yeah.
I did. I was really impressed with the French fries. Actually,
yeah,
they're like nice and thick, and it was. Really
I love their popcorn here, and it's free refills that you don't have to get up and go get. So
Yes.
and for me, that's huge.
Oh yeah.
Because I hate missing a movie that I've not seen, let alone one I've seen like this. Like this, I was like, I've got to go to the bathroom. I hate you guys. But yeah, the food is really good. The popcorn's really good. What do you guys think? You guys didn't do the seating because we did that for you, but it's all assigned.
Yeah.
It's very specific. Like when you order online, you choose your tickets or your seats at that time.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when you log on their site, and they usually charge for this one, they didn't. They usually charge a little bit extra to buy your tickets online instead of here. But even when you do it here, they have screens that you choose as you're looking at them.
Okay.
So
That's really cool.
yeah, did you like the seats and all that?
Oh man, on my podcast or on our podcast, whenever we talk about Indianapolis movie theaters, I always talk about Keystone Art, which is like my favorite theater in the city, and I always talk about how comfortable their seats are. And this theater is like the first one that I've come across that rivals their seats. It's so comfortable, and there's so much leg room, which I know Tiny, you've got to appreciate that.
I do, yes. I'm tall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ironic nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the seats were great too. I had a good time. It was the food came before the movie started, so not really much interruption or anything.
Excellent.
I don't know if I'd want to do it for like a new movie I was seeing that I was really excited about. I'd probably want to do something like this, like Jurassic Park that I've seen, but really want to see in the theater. But it's like a brand new movie that I really want to focus on.
Yeah.
I might be hesitant.
Yeah, I equate some of the serving interruptions to what you get at like a drive-in.
Yeah.
And we go see movies at the drive-in. We didn't do it this year, but we usually do it all the time. We used to go and watch 3 movies in a row because 3 movies for $10. Hey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But we ended up watching World War Z in a terrible spot last year. Literally, cars were driving in front of us while they were watching the movie, and there were parts where we couldn't see it because it was so dark on the screen.
Yeah.
I liked World War Z, but I felt like I could have gotten a better experience had I done it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and Studio Movie Girl is really great about showing older movies. They do this blockbuster series where they show something new every month. They did Back to the Future, and I want to say they did Ghostbusters this year too. They did a bunch of stuff though, and so they also have a ladies' night, which you can still come in for your guy. That's when we saw American President. Had a lot of fun with that.
Nice.
But yeah, I really like the seating here and that kind of stuff. And it's there's another chain called Alamo Draft House. It's very much like that. That still has the same things. Also here, if you have a baby, you're not welcome. They don't want you here.
Huh.
If you have a baby or a young child, it's just, you know what, that's not, unless it's a little kid movie, this is not the right theater for you. And they want you to have that quiet experience.
Yeah, and that's so refreshing because I've one of my go-to bad theater experience stories is that me and my sister went to see a movie. It was a packed house opening. I think it was like opening weekend. So this whole family comes in, mother, father, presumably grandmother, probably aunt, uncle, stuff like that, and an infant, like a little tiny baby, could not have been older. It was still in a stroller.
Yeah.
So we're watching the movie. The movie is Munich.
Okay.
The Spielberg movie about the
Really popular with the infant.
yes, really
infant
popular
demographic.
with the infant demographic.
That's not a movie I would take children to.
No, and so since there's explosions in the movie, the baby's crying and stuff, and I'm like, guys, maybe don't want to bring that baby here.
Clearly, you have no idea how hard it is to raise a child, Matt.
Yes, but there were 3 adults there. There were 3 adults that decided I need to see Munich before I.
I will
I'm with
agree.
you, man.
Sometimes it's hard to find a babysitter, but that's when you just don't go see the movie sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
Oh, yeah.
So overall, you guys had a good experience. You enjoyed your night.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they sell
Oh,
booze
yeah.
here too. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's
I had a great
definitely
amaretto sour. On Sundays, they have a picture of PBR, real cheap.
Place you can drink on
nice.
Sunday. That's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome.
what I'm saying. So,
Oh, yeah.
all right. Well, why don't we talk a little bit about your podcast and where we
Okay.
can find it, what we can do about it, and how we get in touch with you guys. Go ahead.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, like we said at the beginning, the Obsessive Viewer Podcast is an offshoot of the Obsessive Viewer blog, which is at obsessiveviewer.com, which is a blog I started last February. The podcast came shortly thereafter in June. It's like I said, it's a weekly movie, TV related podcast. Each week we discuss a specific topic. Like we just recently did a whole series on Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Called Summer of Sandler.
That went exceptionally well, right?
Yeah.
You watched every one of those movies.
We watched every one of them, and we talked about every one of them.
Every
one of them. And it got so tedious, but I'm particularly proud of our last episode that we did of that, because I have a theory about Jack and Jill.
It's brilliant.
I don't like to say that it's brilliant, but yeah, it's pretty brilliant.
Really?
It's
pretty good.
It's the only rationalization I have for why that movie exists, and it gives a little bit of credit to Adam Sandler, but you'd have to listen to it. It's just a theory that I came up with because I don't see how anyone with that amount of money, I don't see how someone who has earned that amount of money can create something so absolutely terrible. So that my theory about it is what justifies his making it.
Okay.
And in some ways justifies his entire career. But anyway, you can find the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, a lot of other podcatchers that like people will say like, oh yeah, I have this app and you're on it, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And also, you can, if you want to go just straight to the site that has the archive of all of them, you can go to ovpodcast.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we find you guys on Twitter, Facebook?
Yes. Twitter, Facebook, facebook.com/theobsessiveviewer. Twitter, I'm Matt, @ObsessiveViewer. I say that all the time on the podcast. Tiny.
I'm Tiny, @ObsessiveTiny on Twitter, and also we both contribute to some other stuff as well. Just plug that real quick. We have a sister site called Obsessive Book Nerd where we review books and do spotlights on books. It's everything. It's romance, nonfiction, horror, comic books, a lot of comic books. It's a lot of fun, so check that out. And then
that's at obsessivebooknerd.com. And as far as comics, I've been doing for like the past 19 weeks. A weekly review of the trade paperbacks of The Walking Dead leading up to the new season.
Oh, excellent.
So it's
a lot of reading.
Yeah, it's a lot of writing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Tiny has a side project.
Yeah, I have a side project podcast called The Secular Perspective. It's just about religion and secularism and how they conflict with one another, and it's a non-profit organization, profit with a PH. We just, it's if that's your thing, check it out. If it's not,
right on.
No big deal. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. And we want to encourage all of our listeners to head over to our website and sign up for our newsletter. You can find that on the right-hand side. I really encourage you to do that so you can keep up on all kinds of new and interesting things from us. Like we're going to Awesome Con where we'll have a table and three panels now. You can always find us on Facebook and Twitter. We're @NerdsDomain. I'm @Quiet. And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdsdomain. And I think that'll do us tonight. We'll talk to you guys real soon.
This has been a production of the Omega Nerds Network, the network where it's on.